I'm alive again. Here I am once again. Right. It's day 40 of my bloggy, blog, blog. Yeah, I'm on a little bit earlier than I normally would. About an hour before I would normally do my blog, but there's no kind of set time for it. And I haven't really got much to say today, to be honest. I didn't do much. Again, I had another day off. Just lazed around on my fat ass all day, which is what I tend to do, mainly on my days off anyway. So, we got to have a hobby, and sitting around on my fat ass is my hobby. I read a couple of invaders, just a couple of invaders today. So I read, was it number 9? Basically, they're taking on Baron Blood. Old Union Jack's taking on Baron Blood with the rest of the invaders. And at the end, his daughter is critically injured. Then they take him to the hospital. I think Baron Union Jack gets his legs crushed by Baron Blood, who drops a rock on his legs. They end up killing Baron Blood. But they rush him to the hospital. When they rush him to the hospital, for some reason, we get a flashback story from Captain America's viewpoint, and it's like told in a sort of style of an old comic from that era. I don't know if it was actually a reprint of an old comic from that era, or if it was like told in the vein of a story from that era. But that's where this guy, the Reaper, comes in. The Reaper. So yeah. And I'm currently reading while they're in the hospital to get attacked by the blue bullet or something like that. Hi, Matilda. Do you want to join me? I've made a stream today in case anyone wants to join. But because I thought Saturday there might be a few people about who want to pop in for a chat. But yeah, as in fact, there's hardly anyone watching. So they're probably all in other streams already. But if you would like to pop in and say hi, maybe do video. Hey, Surly Tim, do you want to pop in and say hi? Oh, you're with your grandchildren today, are you? Hello, Surly Tim's grandchildren. Are you still surly around your grandchildren, or are you on best grandfatherly behaviour? Oh, are you panting or are you painting, Matilda? That's if you're painting, you can come on and show your painting as you work. You can put your camera on your work, and you can talk us through a Matilda masterpiece, and we can convince people to leave comments down below so they can get in on the competition, get in on the Sabra Captain Britain contest. You're always early. Next time, Mr. Gray, no worries. Do you want to come in? Well, if you're not too busy with the grandchildren, Tim, you can come in and have a chat. See if you can get your equipment working properly this time. But if not, no worries. The link is there if anyone wants to pop in and have a chat. Anyone who hasn't done any streaming before, or even if you have done streaming before, just feel free to join me here. It just gives me something to talk about. I can ask you questions, or you can ask me questions, or we can just stare into space and talk about nothing. Those are the options. I could serenade my cider or something like that. Mm-hmm. So, okay, no worries. No worries, Matilda. I probably won't go on for long then if no one wants to join me. Because I haven't I've got bugger all to say. I did a podcast. I did one of my podcasts. Yeah. Because tomorrow, Sunday's normally the time that I do you stream yourself drawing at some point. You should do. What are you drawing today, Matilda? Hey, Mike. Happy Saturday to you too. If you want to join me in the on this stream, the link is up above. If you want to jump in and say hi. Do you do any content? I don't know if I've ever seen any videos from you, Mike. I've seen you posting and commenting on a lot of people's stuff. Oh, you're drawing Gambit. Okay, fair enough. Not my favourite character. I never liked Gambit. He was just too much of a womanizing. I hated his accent as well. Having to read his accent, I found it quite annoying. But being English, any kind of French thing is obviously my natural enemy. Oh, for Alex Big Blue, yeah. Have you come up with an amalgam character for his contest? You should surely you should be drawing your amalgam character. Or are you going to draw that as well? Oh, very sweet. I'm actually working up on my first video. You're not a Gambit fan either. Do you want to join? Anyone want to join me in having a chat here? Oh, you had a crush on him as a kid. What, Gambit? Oh, bleh. I have not broadcasted myself as of yet. Well, the link is there. If anyone wants to pop in and discuss anything, show some comic books, or just shoot the breeze. No guns, no real guns allowed. I'll work on that one tomorrow. So you've not decided who your... Oh, yeah, I haven't decided who my amalgam character is going to be yet either. I will get around to it probably eventually. Depends. Oh, you're eating lunch. Everyone's too busy to come on board. Never mind. That means I have to think of stuff to say, which is awkward because I've done bugger all. I'm going to spend my whole stream just inviting other people in. That's my new stream idea. It's called the inviting people to have a stream with me stream. No worries. So I did a podcast today. Let me just do the boring thing of going through the bands that were on this week's podcast. It's my heavy metal show. So these are some good fun names for you to check out. So on the show this week, we've got Intent, Inverted Matter, Rotten Dawn, Moko Mokai, Gigantomachia, Tales of the Tomb, and Now the Hours Are Smiling, Ingraves, Atavistia, Votov, Thread of Omen, Black Sackback, they're another Israeli band, Matilda, Morbid Sin, Cron Goblin, Omnispawn, Whispers of October, Eaton, Witch Vomit, Axe Minister, Hercules, Abgator, Sir, Mudflux, Melt, Cellar People, Splicer, Egypt, Anti-Human, and This Void Inside. These are all the heavy metal bands on my podcast. This won't be out tomorrow. It's not out yet. Are you a 2020 AD fan? Or do you mean 2000 AD? The comic book 2000 AD, or are you talking about my fan of this year? Well, I suppose this year is not too terrible. I've got a job at last, so it's good on that front, I suppose. Yeah. So hopefully I'll be earning some money eventually soon. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm not adverse to this year. If you mean the comic book 2000 AD, then yes, I definitely. Although I haven't bought any for ages. But yeah, the stories, the characters, a lot of the classic 2000 AD stuff, very much a fan of. Yes. Okay. Yes. That doesn't help. I don't know if you were referring to yes when I said the year 2020, or yes when I was talking about the comic 2000 AD. Yeah, 2000 AD is also. I had a few. I don't know if I liked it much anymore. I mean, my brother was collecting it again, and I was only really enjoying Judge Dredd. A lot of the other characters I find a bit tedious, so the stories aren't that gripping. But the old 2000 ADs, lots of the old characters they used to have are always really good. We shall see if my character turns out good. Yeah, just coming up with the idea, the correct amalgam, isn't it? I should try and think of an amalgam. How about mixing up Benjamin Grimm with Swamp Thing and creating a character called Fing Fing? He's made out of rocks and plants. Fing Fing, I like that. He's made out of rocks and plants. He's also part panda, because they've all got names like Chi Chi and Mimi and Fing Fing. All right, Werewolf, do you want to join me? You want to join me for a chat? You want to join me for a chat across the miles, across the airwaves, across the internet? I've got a link if anyone wants to pop in and say hi or whatever. I have a box of Amalgam comic cards that is still unopened from the 90s. Did they do comic cards, Amalgam? I didn't realize they did a set of comic cards. Oh, your idea is Naughty Matilda. Naughty Matilda. Naughty Matilda. Oh, dear. Yeah, I can't. Giant-sized man thing is rude enough as it is, but I'm not sure what you're going to merge it with to make it even more rude. You can mix, yeah, you can mix giant man and man thing and make giant man thing, I suppose. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I didn't know they did amalgam comic cards. Yeah, I'm not really that into the little bits like that, statues and trading cards and that kind of thing. Yeah, you're eating ice cream, werewolf, by lunchtime. Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. That was actually, yeah. Remember when I was trying to think of an amalgam character? I was trying to think of a play on words for werewolf by lunchtime, but werewolf by night, wasn't it? But I was thinking of somehow mixing werewolf by something or else. But yeah, I couldn't think of another character to mix it with to create an interesting character. Chocolate ice cream. Fair enough. I'm drinking apple cider ice cream. Bloggity blog. You can join me if you like, Life with Two YouTubers. Links up here. The link is here if anyone wants to join me and talk whatever they want to talk about. You got your blog, you got your show tonight in your Isle of. I can't be staying up late anymore and watching all these shows. Yeah, well, pretty much all ciders made out of apples, really. But yeah, we'll do a pear cider, which is not actually. I think the proper name of pear cider is Perry. Yeah. After Marvel and DC did their big crossover in the 90s, they did a series of comics called Amalgam. Yeah, I know those comics. I got most of them. And of course, they did cards for everything back then. Okay, yeah, I didn't know about the cards. But then I say my comic shop at that time was a pokey little place with like let's just say the owners were a little bit unusual chaps. Weren't very friendly to most people. They were friendly with me because I spent lots of money. But they weren't one of these shops that had lots of other bits and pieces on as well. They had nothing but comic books, which is cool. And I think they had some old books, and one of them did photography or something like that as well. But it was, there was no kind of, all right, mate, you want links up above if you want to join in and have a chat. It's just to save me from having to find things to talk about, because I've got absolutely nothing to talk about because I've done absolutely nothing. I have done spod all. Hey up, Lowell. Oh, be careful with that. You heard about the crazy flasher that hopped on the stream the other night. That was that me? Did I do that? No. What crazy flasher would that be then? Well, to be honest, most people. So, oh look, Bub's Comics is here. He's not even said hello in the chat, and he's here in the stream. That's unusual. He's probably if anyone's going to be a crazy flasher, I think it's going to be Bub. I mean, he's a silent flasher. At least as that goes. Oh, no, I can hear him now. I can hear him. Hi, dude. How you doing?
Hey, what's going on, Gray Man?
I'm all right. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I hear you great.
Oh, cool. So what's up with you today on this fine Saturday? Is it a Saturday? I think it is, yeah. I lose track of time. When I'm at work, I lose track of time. When I'm not at work, I lose track of time. I'm pretty sure it's a Saturday. Yeah, it is a Saturday. Definitely a Saturday.
Yeah.
So what's going on in
what are you drinking? Cider?
And we're joined by Werewolf by lunchtime as well. So we have 3 continents. Not incontinence. Might be incontinent as well as continents, but hopefully not. not for a few years yet. Can you hear us?
If you're drinking enough cider, you might get that.
Yeah, eventually. If you drink too early, what are you drinking? Moonshine. That's definitely a moonshine jar you've got there.
Yeah, it's a little mini.
Cool. All right, Collecting Chaos is going to try and come in as well. Got no camera attached to this computer, but should still be able to hear your voice. What's happening with Werewolf by lunchtime? Oh, he's gone. He's disappeared. That counts though. That still counts. So, what are you reading at the moment? Anything exciting?
I think so.
What is it? What are you reading?
No, just cleaning up my mess in the comic room and trying to get things straightened out.
Right. That got real loud real quick.
4-way chat. I'll let you guys talk now. It saves me having to think of things to say. Quick, come on, get me more viewers by having a great chat.
Ignore the backdrop.
You got your clothes hanging up there to dry.
Yeah.
Cool.
That looks like one of my rooms.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's my kitchen at the minute.
Looks like one of my comic storage rooms.
Have you pre-ordered any of the DC variants, the 80th Joker 80th ones?
No, I don't buy any modern comics. So
Some incredible variants on there.
was it 80th Joker? Did you say?
Yeah, from 1940. So it's next month marks the first edition. So it's been like 80 years since the Joker's debut in 1940.
Okay.
So they're doing like I think it's 6 covers, dating from 1940 up to 2000 and I dare say 3. They got like a couple of Heath Ledger inspired ones, and then I've pre-ordered the 1940s variant. You know when he kills Robin with the crowbar?
Crowbar, yeah.
Yeah, I've pre-ordered that, and then the 1940s, and then the 2000s. They got like a Heath Ledger looking one, so I've ordered 2 of those guys.
He didn't do a very good job though, because he didn't stick, did it? No, he kind of got better from being killed, as they do.
The only new comics I buy are Superman, Supergirl, Wonder Woman, and Amethyst. I like Amethyst.
Cool.
To be fair, there's not much that's on my normal pull list. Anyway, again, I'm similar to Greyman, where I pick up a lot of back issue stuff. It's a lot nicer than new modern issues.
Yeah, and also a lot cheaper. I can't get my head around paying like, for one comic the same you could pay for like 3 or 4 old comics. So, and then if I wait a little while, the modern comics, if there's 1 or 2 that I like, I end up seeing them going for £1 anyway. So it's like, okay, wait a little bit and just 4 old comics.
Great man, OK Comics in Leeds.
Well, you need to get your headphones off or something. I've got headphones on, get a lot of echo in your. Ooh. I don't know if I think he's muted it now. Could anyone hear everyone else all right now?
No, yeah, it's good.
Oh, right,
I don't know. I can hear all of you.
Oh, yeah, I got a weird echo when Werewolf came on. Did no one else get that? Or
yeah, I got it.
Oh,
yeah.
Cool. What was you talking about? Here?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, mate. How you doing?
There you go.
OK Comics in Leeds, they're doing their back issue bins at 25p a copy.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, this weekend.
And a lot of the new stuff goes in the cheap bins pretty quickly as well, doesn't it? So
I don't know. I don't tend to shop in bigger shops, so I've never been in really. I tend to again with those like you, those vintage stores, antique stores. I tend to find a lot more in there.
Yeah, I don't find anything in any like vintage stores, to be honest.
No,
I never. There's not many vintage stores that I've ever sort of been in and found anything. There's loads of comic shops in London now, so I end up. Also, a lot of stuff I buy on Facebook as well. This is a lot of like people in Facebook groups, and they're selling 50p, a quid, whatever. So it's like, yeah, that'd do me. I didn't got to leave the house.
Google antiques emporiums and just look in those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an hour trip for me, round trip to go to a comic store. And
Well,
that's the
like a
closest
local
one.
store.
Yeah, that's a local store.
Yeah.
It's a half an hour away.
In my town, there's not actually a local store. I've spoken about this in loads of videos, but there's not a local store from where I am. So it's either a sort of 30-minute train ride or mail order. But again, the amount it's not worth. I've got a subscription now with a couple of online stores, but it's not worth me spending 30 minutes on a dedicated trip to go and get something when sort of a quarter of my collection is new and then the rest of it's sort of anywhere between gold, bronze, modern, whatever.
Yeah. Oh, I prefer the gold and the silver and the bronze.
Yeah. Well, what about you, Werewolf? Have you got a local comic shop where you are?
Comic Zone in Perth.
Is it any good?
They're all English,
Oh, right.
and they're like West Ham fans and the Nottingham Forest fans.
Irons.
We need to get what's his name on? Ken.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll be online.
No.
Yeah, I've got to try and sort this out because it's my first time trying to do this.
We can hear you all right anyway.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you fine, yeah. You can see your wall as well. A nice picture.
I thought you were trying to be cheeky to show your shadow.
Okay. Let me try to do something.
We're getting a tour here.
I just don't-
It's rather
Yeah,
mysterious
yeah, I
with the
just don't-
shadow. I like that.
Well, I should be recording a video instead of doing this, but this is more fun.
Yeah, this is the
So
first
my
time.
screen is like half blue. Is that normal?
Your screen's half blue.
On my phone.
Oh, right. I don't know, mate. I can't see your phone, but it looks all right on the video on YouTube anyway.
Yeah, that is my wall.
We've got-
I just don't want you to see me because I'm so hideous.
There we go.
man.
Bubs and Cass, I've just dropped you I've dropped you both with some as well.
How can you say that when my face is like visible at all times? I don't know. Don't do these no faces stuff. I don't care. It's like I've lived with this mug for 50 years. If people don't like it, they can get stuffed as far as I'm concerned. Just show it. I mean, obviously, I'm hiding a few chins under the beard, obviously, so that helps. But who cares?
Oh, I see what's going on there.
So, what's everyone reading today? Anyone reading anything today? Anything interesting?
Satan 6. That's about it.
Is that the Topps comic one?
Yeah, the Kirby verse.
Yeah.
But I posted it on Instagram, and the
I've
amount
got
of
a couple of those.
the amount of weird accounts that started following me and liking the photos because it says Satan 6 in the title.
Okay.
It was strange. I blocked a few just because they were weird.
Okay.
I think I had. Let me change one of the accounts that started.
Well, you can't be wrong if you're buying something by Kirby.
No, yeah. To be fair, that's my first lot of Kirby. To be honest with you, for a really cheap price.
I'm sure I bought some of them Topps comics back in the day, but I looked for my collection. I haven't got any of them, but I'm sure I had some. But what I did read though, I didn't think they were that cool. To be honest, I think I read that Bombast, and I was
Trying to remember which ones, what all they had.
I think I've got the Jurassic
I
Park.
remember selling them.
I've got
I
the
had
Jurassic
my
Park
four,
ones. They're from Topps too.
You're
Jurassic
talking about
Park.
Topps.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've got some Jurassic Park, and I've got some Cadillac Spurs, and I think Lady Rawhide is also Topps.
yeah.
I think that's probably all I've got.
And they did a Zorro series also.
Yes, and I've got a Zorro. Yeah, that's true.
They're the lucky.
Actually, Lady
there was
Rawhide's first appearance is in a Zorro title.
That's correct. And
We're
there was a
just saying-
couple of different Kirby ones though.
We're just saying there was Night Flyer and Captain Glory. Oh,
Yeah, Captain Glory was one of them.
Silver Age Dave's come in the stream, I think. And we seem to have lost Werewolf by Night. And I'm not sure what Silver Age Dave's doing. He's another one walking around his house by the looks of it.
Oh, hey.
Hey,
Am I
Dave.
here?
You're here.
His
Yeah.
garage.
What are you doing?
Yeah, he's cleaning his garage out live on video. He's going to make
hey,
up one of them.
I had a big score recently, and I thought I'd share with you guys. I know you're talking books and comics,
Yeah,
but
go
do you
for
have
it.
any idea what you're looking at here?
You're not making a new bird table, are you? Out of
No.
whatever. One of them.
Hey, I'm glad you brought that up.
Boards
stay
and
kinda
looks
quiet
like
on that. I'm going to try to
cards.
sell that to Bubs next weekend.
Cool.
Yeah.
This is
I'll see you. It's less than a week now, Dave, and I'll be in that garage. I know what you're showing. You're showing foam boards that you're going to use to cut down and put them inside of short boxes and long boxes to fill up gaps, aren't you?
You betcha. This is very serious construction grade. I don't know what this costs per sheet, but when you see big buildings and they do patios and the big staircases in front of giant buildings, it's not like 5 to 20 feet thick of concrete. They use all this heavy foam board. So this stuff is like 3 to 4 inches thick. It comes in like 10-foot long sheets. Here's a big sheet of it behind my running clothes. Look how big that sheet is. And a place nearby was doing a big renovation, and they had all this stuff they were going to throw out. I haven't been this excited. I can't tell you how long. Look at all that beautiful foam board. So Bubs, if you play your cards right, you might go home with a couple of comic board, spacers. Look at that.
Did you say play my cards right or wrong?
If you play your cards right, I might send you with some of this because, taking care of comics 101 is you don't let them flop over.
Well, the other option would to send them a load of comics in the comic spaces.
That's
Yeah,
what
I
I'm
don't have any
thinking.
space
Thank
in
you,
my
Greg.
or in my boxes.
Yeah,
I
isn't that the
appreciate that a
problem?
bunch. Thank you.
Matter of fact, I need more boxes. That's my problem.
Yeah, I do as well. I've got one box that's got a bit of space in it, and I just scrunched up some bloody bubble wrap and an old mailer and just stuffed it in there to keep them from flapping around a bit. But
Great
yeah,
man. IKEA.
I like those
Yeah,
new
Hey,
corrugated
I
plastic
wanted to
boxes.
share that with you guys and let you know I'm enjoying the show, and I'm going to pop back out of here. We'll let someone come in and
Okay.
talk comics, but I wanted to share that. And Bubs, I'll see you Friday, right?
All right,
Is it-
Dave. See you in 6 days, buddy.
is it a con
Okay.
you're going to, Bub?
You guys take care now.
Yeah.
Is it a fantastic con?
All
that
right.
you
See you soon.
about, or
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm traveling. I'm doing a big travel for that. It'd be like almost 6-hour drive for me.
right?
Where is it?
It's in northern Ohio, in Toledo.
There's not a
Yeah,
lot of them cancelling. I know there's a few. One in Amsterdam and a big festival that's cancelled.
That's pretty
Yeah.
far from where I am, so I won't be going.
Yeah, a lot of things are being cancelled.
Long way from Central Texas.
Whereabouts?
Hey, we can see.
You hear me?
Next time, yeah, we can see him as well. sort of see him every time he leans in. You're going to show us some comics, mate.
There's a lag.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, say a leg or a
Yeah.
lag. We can see your leg, and there's a lag.
I managed to get what I've been after for a long time, which might be a little bit of a different for everybody. Like Strange Skies over East Berlin. I got 1 to 4 finally. That's only issue 1, but I've literally picked up 1 to 4
I've
today
got a
from
new
eBay.
phone. Like,
Oh,
yeah,
congratulations.
let me try and sort it out.
Oh, mate,
Why am I in full screen?
because you were showing off a comic, and better
Okay.
on his faces. I mean, you showed that one before.
Here you go,
Oh,
Ronald.
Yeah, I managed to pick up actually an eBay fan because when they first came out, they sort of doubled in price quite quickly. But it's only from Boom. It's nothing major, but it's a cool like pre-war
it's like
sort
a
of like
spy-
Berlin Wall.
spy thing or something like that, like a Cold War kind of spy drama.
Yeah. It's very much. I don't know. It's got a bit of a sci-fi twist. I love anything like that, like Alien and Predator and stuff. So it's got a bit of a sci-fi twist in it, but it's I don't know. It's one of those things that went hot really quick, and then when you want to read something, it always doubles in price. I think I got all 6 for like £6 in the UK, which is probably $8 or $9 for all 4. It's just all first edition, first variant, and then number 3 turned up. The seller didn't tell me this. Number 3 turned up, and it's actually second variant. So I'm still on the hunt for number 3 variant 1, which is a bit of a shame, but it still continues.
Good price, though.
Yeah, $8 for what? 4 comics that
Yeah,
sort of a
probably
month
closer-
ago was probably
Probably
double that.
close to the 9.5 or 10, but still, that's a good price.
Yeah, but that's fairly new. I mean, that's not nothing that they sort of. I don't know when the issue finished. I mean, it was only a 4-parter, but I think it finished in January. I think so, end of this year or start of this year.
Anyone bought anything today?
Yeah, a couple of new, some.
I'll grab
Supergirl
something.
stuff.
Yesterday,
I had a little accidentally fell onto eBay a minute ago and picked up a couple of things. I managed to pick up some cheap quid books on there, so that's okay.
Nice.
A flash
I'm
from
trying to
my
say,
friends.
Yeah, I had
Trying to save for that
7 of the
comics
art
weekend.
covers that came in yesterday.
What was that, Chaos? Sorry.
I got 7 of the Art Germ Supergirl covers
okay.
that came in yesterday.
Right.
Oh wow.
His art is just incredible.
Yeah, you like everything. Then you got all the old Dells and like new stuff,
Yeah,
variants and that. You're a big variant collector. I think all you guys are quite big variant collectors, isn't you?
well, I don't
collect too many.
I'm not a huge variant fan, but when I saw that Wonder Woman 750,
Right.
I had to pick up both of them, and 2 more are on the way.
dollar bin dives.
I think almost all of those comics were good. All the covers were good.
As people will put them. These are from a local, actually an antique shop that's local to me. So they're all, as me and Greyman will appreciate, 50p.
Yeah.
I've never read. I've read a few of these, but this is something that's been in there for ages. I've picked this up so many times when I've been in there. Eternal, yeah,
The
Eternal
Eternal
Warrior
Warrior.
by Valiant.
That's a good series to read.
Yeah, I'm anything into that like sort of old school war. Anything. I think it's got a bit of a nod to the British side of things in here as well as quite a bit of American stuff. But yeah, I think that's. I don't know what issue number actually. It doesn't say. Oh, number 11.
I think the only run of Valiant I still have is Archer and Armstrong. That was my favorite.
Although I think I got quite a lot of the DC Valiant. But obviously, we know where that ended.
Oh, what is here? DC Valiant.
Yeah, I've got a couple of DC Valiant, I think.
I didn't know there was a thing called DC Valiant. You're confusing me there.
No.
What are the characters called Valiant in DC? Or you talking about Valor? By any
Let me have a
chance?
look one
Maybe
sec. I'll try and find it.
Vertigo. You mean Vertigo?
No, I've got loads of DC Vertigo too.
All right, Medi, there's a comic there I don't
Hey,
have.
Chaos. These are,
I don't have that.
Hey
metal.
guys,
Hey, Roger.
how you
I
doing,
thought-
man?
I thought you was going to be face out all
Hey,
the time
Roger.
now, mate. Now
Hey,
that
Chaos.
you
Well,
I've
you
got-
know, I figure with Bub on there, we got the ugly quotient already, so you know we don't want to take it any further.
I just noticed that
Hello.
Paolo. We've got Werewolf. Werewolf, you have to hold on for a bit, mate. When later on, someone.
Hey, Paulo, ¿cómo estamos, mi amigo?
How you doing, Roger?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Thanks. Great to be on here
Paulo?
with all you guys.
So
hey, Chaos. Let me show you the 3 Wonder Woman variants, the 750 variants I picked up. I picked
Good.
Middleton.
Oh, yeah.
Let's just have
And
a
I
quick.
picked up.
That was the 40s one, right?
Picked up. Yeah,
All
picked
right.
up the Adam Hughes.
Yeah.
We'll get
I
on
think
Bub
that
then.
was
And then
either
I-
the 80s or the 90s one.
So I picked these 2 up out of the shop, and then I pre-ordered this one, the Adam Hughes limited variant, store exclusive, and he signed it.
Cool.
Oh, that's nice. I like that the old skirt
Nice.
type of Wonder
Yeah.
Woman. That's nice. Yeah.
I've
Right.
always liked
Yeah.
Adam Hughes. Even before he was popular, I liked him.
All right, let's have a look at
Yeah.
your comics. Apple was showing off some dollar comics there. Let's have a quick look at them.
I've got a band soon, so I'll quickly go through them.
Oh, right, yeah. I saw Was that Sleepwalker? Yeah, that was
Yeah,
cool.
it's-
oh,
Cool
yeah.
series.
I'm just trying to fill in I've got loads of gaps at the minute, so these are ones I've not
Yeah.
picked up.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
a very underrated series. I have the complete run.
Really, really
Pretty
quick.
good.
I've got
Yeah.
the one as well.
I'm not a huge fan of West Coast. I absolutely hate the series in general, but again, for 50p, you can't really complain, really. But
Yeah.
Okay,
The
I
burn
like
issues,
that West
the burn
Coast
issues
style.
are pretty good, but the rest of it, ugh.
The West Coast only had one really good period, which was when John Byrne was on it.
Outlaws
When he
is
turned
good.
Yeah.
when he
Paulo
turned the
knows the
Vision
score.
white.
Yep. Paulo
Yeah,
knows the score.
so-
Yeah.
a nice sealed copy there of first edition with a card still in the back, which is nice.
I think I must have low kind of expectations for comics or something. I don't know, because I never sort of complained like I think, oh, this part of the run's better than the other part of the run. I just like the whole run, and I don't really even.
I don't know. I don't think it's that. I think the stuff I've read from West Coast was dog shit. So it gave me a bad expectation for the rest of the stuff that I picked up. So therefore, I'd never really if it's a last it's the last thing that I pick up, then I will. But it's never something that I think, all right, I'm going to go out today and try and find West Coast. Whereas I don't know if it's the same in the US, but especially the UK, like a lot of places aren't categorized, so it's a gamble on what you're going to pick up and what you're going to find. Nothing's really categorized over here. It's more of a dive in, and if something something you fancy picks up. Even the same for a lot of new stuff as well. But
Well, I got West Coast Avengers like from my
Most
comic
of
shop.
Target
It
comics are like that.
was in my
Even
pull list. I got all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the complete
So
run.
I
Whatever
sold
the
like
last
a
few
bunch
years
of
are terrible. It's like we all talk at the same time.
I
That we all
sold a bunch
quiet
of
at the
comics
same
to my
time.
local comic shop. Yeah. So I sold like a bunch of comics. I sold almost 400 comics to my local comic shop this week. And one of the things, and he asked me how much I wanted for him. I told him the price. It's like there was no negotiation. He was happy with it. Just paid it.
Nice.
And so I asked him, because these books weren't particularly amazing, right? There were a couple of keys in there, but it wasn't crazy. So I asked him what, just out of curiosity, why did you not negotiate, or why'd you go straight? He said, there's two main reasons. One is all your books were alphabetized and in order.
Mm.
So they were in volumized order. They were alphabetized, even the ones that were from different series. I brought him 3 short boxes, and they were all in alphabetized order. He said, plus they were already bagged and boarded, and a lot of them were in Mylars because my whole collection's in Mylar. So when I sell a book, chances are it's going to be in Mylar, even if it's a run filler. So he's like, that's why I bought it, because I don't have to do anything but put a price tag on it. Hardest thing I have to do is price it. So if you find a shop that is organized and not just all over the place, if you do a lot of that organization for them, then they're maybe more apt to buy it. That's what happened for me.
I think it's part of the fun though as well. As much as I moan about it, I think it's part of the fun, like finding something that's in a mess, I guess.
Yeah.
So if I'm not looking for anything specific,
it can be.
I've got about 5,000 comics in Mylar right now.
That's
a long way to go.
Wow.
Yeah. That's your thing, isn't it? It's just putting all your comics in Mylar. That's your
the eternal Mylar project.
That's it. Yeah.
Wow.
I might have had 2 Mylar comics, I think, only because people have sent them to me in Mylar. But I've never, to be honest, I never even bagged and boarded for years. For decades, I never bagged and boarded. When I bought comics as a kid, there was no bags and boards. I didn't know anything about them. And then it wasn't until a couple of decades later into my collecting that I realized people were sending stuff in, like when I bought stuff at bags and boards. I never got bags and boards from my comic shop because it was a rough comic shop, if you know. Like the guys didn't really care about comics. I don't know. I think the old man set the shop up, and his son was running it, and his son didn't even like people, let alone comics. So it was kind of like he never even sold any bags and balls. There was no bags and balls up for sale in the shop that I ever saw. So I didn't really know about them till late. And even last year when I was going through my comics, I had like long boxes stuffed full of raw comics, not a bag and ball in sight, and quite a few of my boxes. So I'm kind of slowly getting bags and balls on them all now, but not going crazy, if you know. I'd rather spend money on comics than on bags and balls, to be honest. But you know.
I got stiffed at, do you know the comic fair I went to in Sheffield? A guy gave me magazine-sized boards and I didn't check till I got home. So I've had to, I've guillotined them down. So every time, that's a problem now. So I've got to guillotine them every single time when I bag something else. I've got to guillotine like 6 in a row. So it's not a big issue, but
I actually like doing that better because you can make sure they fit properly.
Yeah, well, it fits a lot, like snugger, especially in the UK with Forbidden Planet. You get stuff like this, so that sometimes they bag on board stuff, but like for example, it's got so much movement in there, and they're really flimsy bags as well. So that's just straight from a. How would you describe Forbidden Planet, Grey Man? It's like a
chain store, isn't it?
Yeah, like a chain.
Yeah.
It started off as like the premier kind of, I think, one of the earliest comic shops in London. I used to have one little pokey shop, which was really cool. I remember going there in my teens and picking up some 2000 AD trades, and then it kind of turned into a bit of a
hop.
I don't know.
Store.
Yeah, but it is now. Yeah, basically, it's just, I think it's like a franchise. It's like someone described it as like a KFC franchise. Everyone could like open up a branch of it or something, and it's they don't sort of concentrate that much on the comics anymore. Put it that way. But
I don't even want to give my money to that sort of company anymore.
Yeah, I've heard they're quite bad for mail.
Bad.
Yeah, ordering by mail, but I've never ordered them from them by mail, to be honest. So
they cancelled my Savage Bastards order and then doubled the price of it.
That's cool.
Oh,
that's wrong,
dirty.
Man. That is wrong.
Yep,
that's business.
That's a take off the list.
Here, Grey Man, that's business.
But I can't get stiff. Having switched to trade paperbacks was the best solution. The best solution I ever came up with. I don't have to deal with bags and boards. I don't have to deal where I'm going to store the regular issues. Most of the stuff that I want to keep is because they have literary interest for me. So I want to keep that story preserved in a way that's easy to get to, easy to read. So, and there's stuff that I wouldn't be able to get if it wasn't available as a trade paperback. Like when I got this, when Marvel put out a TPB with all the Star-Lord stories. Now, Star-Lord was all over the place when it was published in the 70s and 80s, and I don't want to have to go to 3 issues of Marvel Preview, and then when it switches to Marvel Spotlight, and there was one issue that came up in Marvel Comics Super Special, which is where they put the movie adaptations. That doesn't make any sense. So I would rather have a 400-page volume with everything put together. I can read all the stories in order, and it fits so nicely on my bookshelf. And anything else, now I gotta find room for the comics, and I gotta put them in order. And I don't put anything in order. It all just goes in on a bookshelf.
Yeah, but it's just not the same.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of stuff that I would
But in
never
your
have
case-
bought.
In your case, I totally understand it. It makes perfect sense to buy the trade paperback.
Sure.
I love the single issue comics, so it
Sure.
doesn't make sense for me to buy a trade paperback.
Yeah, and I've had people tell me that, the Dreadstar issues are like 50 cents a piece. Okay, they're 50 cents a piece where you are, which is in the United States. I am in Portugal. We do not have 60 years of back issues to roam through. We never had more than 6 comic book shops importing stuff from the United States at the same time, and right now we have 3.
Wow.
So it makes a lot more sense for me to buy trade paperbacks. And one day when you guys when your collections get destroyed by a tornado or something, I will have a bookshelf full of pristine stories.
Jeez, Paolo. Thanks, man.
Great.
Already
I'm off.
been through a
Peace.
flood.
See you later, mate.
All right.
Not a big deal.
Thanks for coming
Major
in.
disaster. I have a new name for Paolo. Major disaster. Remember that, Paolo?
Good one.
that
That's your
villain?
I
amalgam
love
character.
Major Disaster.
That's the amalgam character you needed. What about? Do you guys do any of this like digital? Like this has been a game changer for me. Just a couple of months ago, I bought a 10-inch tablet and I got it at a second hand. I got it at a pawn shop actually. So I got like this 10-inch tablet because it really has meant that I could read modern books as they come out without having to go buy them, or like go out and buy the actual copy, so my collection doesn't balloon with all these run fillers like it does normally. And then I just pick out the covers that I like the best, and I buy those to keep in my drawer, and I still read them too, when I get to that issue. But the covers that I don't care about, and if I'm just reading it for the story, then I get it digital. And that's new for me, but it's already saving me a bunch of money and space. So
Yeah, you have
that
a
might be something you could do,
maximum.
Paolo.
You have a
Space is at a
maximum.
premium too.
I might be too old for that.
Yeah.
Bob has a hard maximum of how many comics he allows in his house at any time, though, don't you?
Yeah, 3,000, no more.
3,000. That was a question. That was a question on my live stream.
Yeah, I remember.
See, so was your suffering, but that didn't work out. Great. I'm still waiting for my blue wrench.
I don't do blue wrenches, mate. I've got it's a lawless wasteland here in my chat.
Lawless wasteland.
Anyone can say what they like in the comments. I mean, what's the blue? I keep going on people's chats and getting blue wrenches, and I'm like, what the bloody hell was that all about? I feel like when I get a blue wrench, I feel like kicking people out of chat just to use my power. That
Well,
just
just in case Vernon stops by, we want to make sure we can get rid of him for you.
who?
Vernon.
Vernon. Who's
He's
Vernon?
he's a gentleman who's got some mental issues, and he's been doing a few things that might get your channel in trouble. So that's why I asked for a blue wrench, just in case somebody like that showed up.
I've never heard of him. I don't think. Is he the guy who did a flashed on someone's
Yep.
stream? I only heard
That's
that from what's his channel called? Is he called Vernon in the channel? Or?
No, well, I don't know what his channel's called, but I know that Jig's Kingdom is where it happened.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
I was wondering.
I wasn't
about
there.
that.
I wasn't there, but Biggie told me about it when we were streaming yesterday.
yeah. I was watching Jig stream, but they did a stream for like all night stream, about 7 hours. A bunch of them. I woke up about 7 o'clock in the morning here, and it was 3 a.m. in America or wherever they were, and they were streaming for ages. They were just all night long.
Yeah, so that's be careful when you leave the open StreamYard like that, because there's a few chaps that are not very cool.
The thing is, you see the names come up below, and if it's not someone I don't know, somebody invites them in. Unless I know them, I won't put them on the. I mean, Bub came in, and I was like, ooh, do I let Bub in? What's he gonna show off?
I wondered because I was backstage for about 5 minutes and you didn't let me in. I was like, oh, I see what's going on.
The thing was,
As soon as my name came up, I was in.
Yeah, I saw you.
Chaos is a good guy.
Yeah, no, I saw you come up, but Bob didn't even say hello in the chat or anything, so I didn't even know he was even watching. And I looked there, I was like, oh, listen, someone's there, and I sort of like added you, and I saw you. But sometimes
I was in the loo. Hey Graham, I was in the loo. I don't like to touch the phone when I'm in the loo. I had it set up on the side of the on the sink.
Bub was in the water closet.
Yeah,
that's right.
The lavatory. I thought you called it restrooms.
Yeah,
We do.
or John.
Yeah.
Restrooms, bathrooms.
Called it-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, lavatories.
Yeah, because I went
Facilities.
to America when I was
About the bags that we
13.
were
I went
talking
to
about.
America when I was 13. I was busting. Sorry?
The first time I ever saw a comic book bag was around 1974, and it was made by Robert Bell.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep, I still
And-
have one, Chaos. I still have one
and
of those.
there was no boards.
Nope.
Some people would use corrugated cardboard to put behind it.
Yep.
But yeah,
Sometimes
I've
they
been
use
doing this a
Ziplocs.
long time. Yeah, I've
I-
seen them in Ziplocs too.
Yep, I bought a whole collection once from a guy who had them from the early '70s. Every single one was in a Ziploc that was so old that when you picked it up, the bottom of the comic would drop through it. It would just disintegrate.
I've seen
Yeah.
a few of those.
I had a couple of books that I bought in a collection that were still in the original mailer bags, the subscription mailers from the late '60s, early '70s, and they were
Wow.
acid. The acid from the bags had ate through them, in
Yeah.
the paper bags.
Wow,
I've got some Mad magazines like that.
cool. Yep, that is cool.
It happens.
Yeah.
Hey, Roger, why aren't you showing your face?
Yeah, I thought once the cat was out of the bag, that was it.
All right. Hold on. If you guys really want a bad experience, here we go. There you go.
There we go.
There I am. Hey.
All right. We changed our mind.
That's what I figured.
Yeah. You only ever see Captain Coyote's hands in his video. He's just like a pair of hands, like showing comic books off or repairing
Yeah.
comic books, that kind of
Fist
thing.
bump, Paolo. Fist bump, Paolo. It's great to see Paolo on here, man. This gentleman has been on my videos for years, and he is so knowledgeable about story arcs. I love when I get a comment from Paolo. I know I have struck a chord.
I just let him come in and do all the talking for me. It saves me a lot of work. Just
Speaking of recommendations, Greyman, you remember that French Conan I showed you the other day? It is
French
now
Conan?
available. Yeah, it's now available in English, but they can't market it in the United States as Conan, so it's the Cimmerian. The first album is reformatted as a 2-issue miniseries called Queen of the Black Coast, and it's better than anything that Marvel's putting out right now.
That's not hard to do.
It had more
Yes.
boobs per panel or something like
That's
that.
a little hard, isn't it?
Man, you got full frontal nudity and sex.
What? Oh, it was Conan. Okay, that's sort of period. Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, so any Conan fans out there, you want to see Conan banging Bellet, you can now read it.
Oh,
That's to get a ring vigilante telling you
That's
about that.
bit of alliteration there.
Yeah.
Well, if we had the Varangian Vigilante in here, I'm sure he'd be all over that.
Definitely, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was just saying, how was your sale the other night? You went on for about 7 hours, didn't you, Roger, with that auction?
Yeah.
Almost 5, I think we went.
Oh, 5 hours.
It was a long night. It was, I just wanted to make space because, like, Bub was saying, he was going to be on there, but he sold it the day before, and I'm just glad that I got him out of here. That the community can enjoy them. Because they were just taking up space here, and to me that makes no sense. Better for somebody else to enjoy them. But yeah, I did. I made I think $100 or $150. So why not?
Anything you're planning to spend that on? Have you got any?
No, I bought. I don't know if you saw my video. I bought a mystery box from Lawrence, and I bought some really high grade and cool old Silver Age from Tony Toth, and that kind of totally drained my reserves in my PayPal.
Yeah.
So now I have to build them back up a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw you did a live stream of your box you got from Lawrence, didn't you?
Yeah. I did the live stream for that and the stuff I got from Tony Toth, which was those Spider-Man I got. I tell you, Gray, it looks like they had never been opened. The pages snapped when you opened them. So I was like, I'm not used to that.
That's too pristine for my taste.
Right. I said that in the live stream. It's like it's a double-edged sword because I don't want to read them because they're just so perfect. But
I want to see cookie crumbs when I open a comic, so I know it's been loved before. Someone
Right,
said,
me too.
Oh,
I
you're
like the
gonna-
ones with character. Yeah.
You guys are gonna love my run of Lone Ranger that I took. I went on vacation 2 years ago, and I took the whole 25 issue run of Lone Ranger with me to the beach. And still, every time I open one of those, it shakes sand out. Every time, sand just falls. I'll pick up a book and I see little grains of sand at the bottom of the bag every time. And I've shook them out. I swear I tried to get rid of it, but it keeps coming back.
Yeah, new comics they simply do not hold up at the beach.
Yeah,
They do not. They do not. Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Which is funny. That's one of the things that I used to love when I was a kid. My dad went to get we were at the beach. My dad went to get the newspaper, and I would go with him just so I could bug him. Hey, buy me a comic. Buy me a comic. Okay, you can have a comic, and I would read it in less than an hour. Because our comics are 80 pages. They have three Marvel stories.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. That's the way to do it.
The older comics, they've got a feel. That newsprint has a feel to it. It has an odor. Sometimes it's a bad odor, but a lot of times it isn't. You can just smell the inks.
Yeah.
The newer comics, they're slick. They don't fade. They're always white, and they just don't appeal to me like the older ones do.
Yeah,
They don't look like they're meant to be read.
The only good thing with the more modern comics is if you accidentally get a bit of sellotape on them, it normally peels off okay without any danger. Yeah, it peels off.
It's slick. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot slicker. Yeah, but
Blue tape.
This is my
tape,
original Deathlock smells great.
Blue tape.
Yeah, I don't even.
I tell you, Chaos, if you're looking for a good tape, this tape is fantastic. It's wall safe tape by Scotch 3M. And you can turn this all over the cover of a comic and pull it right off, and it won't stick. It's even better than painter's tape. So
I'll stick with painter's tape.
Roger was going to tell you to do that.
Because I got like
It's intoxicating. I tell you, it's intoxicating.
It is. It is. It was something that we enjoyed doing in the old days. Is go to where the comics are and start leafing through them, and just leafing through them, their smells would come out and they would assault our senses and they would make us want to buy them.
You got it. 100%, Pablo. 100%.
I've never been massively on the smell. They smell all right, I suppose, but I've never been quite so. I'm more just about the covers. Like if I see a cover with something going on the cover, and it just drags you in, and especially it's got a bit of mystery in there, or it's like a cliffhanger going on there. They always get me every time. And I love the old ones where they got like all the different faces and the different boxes showing all different things. It's like, I could spend like a half an hour reading the cover before I get to the comic.
Yeah.
I remember when I got my Action 252 in the mail. The first thing I did was open it and take a big whiff. And my wife looked at me and said, "How much was that?" I said, "You don't want to know." And she never asked me again.
Cocaine is expensive.
Yeah. Well, truth be told, I overpaid for it. I way overpaid for it. But that was in the 90s, and now it's worth a lot more than what I paid for it. So it's okay.
Cool. That's cool. Yeah. That's the way to do it.
Now there have been some Golden Age books that I've smelled that I swear that out of my Golden Age collection have made me sick from smelling them.
Oh my god!
Because the books I get are so brittle and beat up that I think little tiny pieces of the pages have got into my lungs.
Oh, nice!
It made me sick. Yeah.
You gotta be careful with the Golden Agers. It's true.
Yeah, I do have some standards when I buy gold. I don't like it to be brittle like that. I've got a couple that are, but if it isn't a little bit supple, I really don't want it.
Probably printed on a hemp.
Well, when you're trying to collect golden runs, you got to be, for me to be able to collect a run of Golden Age books, like the same title sequentially, it's tough. I don't want brittle pages, but I'll upgrade someday if I need to, but I'm trying to get that run.
You got to take what you can get. Yeah, you got to take what you can get sometimes. That's true enough. And sometimes you don't know it's brittle because, unless you buy a CGC, you're sort of having a crapshoot. But it's true. It's true what Chaos says though. It's hard because if you flip a page and a piece of the paper flicks off, that's kind of depressing.
Yeah, it is. That's true.
Now, if the comic's a little bit on the supple side and you don't have that problem, you can take a one of the magic erasers and very lightly run it over the page, and it'll take a lot of the dirt and grime off without removing any of the ink. Just don't put any pressure on it. Do it really super light.
Yeah, I use it sometimes. It's some stains it works really well for. This is an absorbing sponge. It's made for cleaning wallpaper.
Yeah, yeah.
And this works really good. And you can apply quite a bit of pressure with this as long as the page will hold up for it. And I repair my book. So if I have a book that has a real bad tear that I think is going to go on, then I'll use this archival document repair tape.
I've got videos on that.
Yeah. I watch
very clear
all the time.
Yep, that's right. I've seen a few of them.
Exactly the same stuff.
It's kind of hypnotic. I can sit and watch him doing those little repairs and talking about taking the staple and giving them a clean.
Yep.
And it's kind of like,
I love it.
I do too. I've seen a few of them, and I've used a few of the techniques actually, so they work.
Well, thank you.
There's another channel that does another channel. I think it's like his side business of nothing but cleaning comics. I can't remember the name of the channel now. I have shouted it out a few times. He does live streams of him cleaning comics up, and he used
DS Comics.
No, not him. No, another guy. It's another guy, fairly recent. I can't remember who it's called now. But he uses
that was a joke. That was a joke.
No, I have seen him do some repairs as well, though. He has done some.
Yeah, he has. Oh, you know who does it? ETA Nick does it too.
Oh, right. No, it wasn't him, but. I can't remember who it was now, but anyway, he uses that. He said that one that you use, that magic marker or whatever, not magic marker, magic eraser.
Magic eraser. Magic eraser.
Yeah,
you have to be very careful.
Yeah, I've heard.
Magic eraser will take off crayon.
That's it was. Yeah, he said
they will. Yeah,
as long as
it's
you're
on white.
with
It's fine.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find.
You got any Golden Age stuff, Carol?
Golden Age? No, I got those trade paperbacks, Golden Age of Marvel, that were reprinting odd issues from here and there. Actually, I like the first one better than the second because the first one goes to the 50s and it's got a Marvel Boy story, Black Knight story, a Yellow Claw story. The second one just closes with the mid 1940s stuff, so it doesn't go into the Atomic Age.
No.
I have a Brazilian edition reprinting the first two issues of Captain America Comics #1 and 2 by Simon and Kirby. That issue was published in the 80s in Brazil. It's pretty good, actually.
Nice.
And I got a couple of facsimiles from an All Star Comics and I think I have the Action Comics one too.
Nice.
I like
So
the facsimiles pretty well.
Nice.
I can afford the art covers reprinting the Golden Age material.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I seriously considered buying the reprint or the it's a reprint of the Hulk 1 today, and I just didn't do it. I remember owning the original, and I couldn't pull the trigger on a reprint.
It's hard to go back there. Yeah.
Well, chances are when I buy my Hulk 1, which I don't have, that's one of the top books on my list to get someday. But when I buy that, chances are it's going to be slabbed. And so I went ahead and picked up the reprint just so I have it to read just in case,
I think I sold mine in 76 or 77. I don't remember which.
Ooh, wow.
It's one of the few comics I've regretted selling is my run of 1 through 6 of the Hulk.
Oh yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, I have it on the Fireside book, but I've never had the originals. I never have even seen when I lived in Florida one of the Hulks. They're really rare back down there.
Yeah, I haven't got any the real classic. A few bronze #1s. That's about it, really. I haven't got any of the silver #1s or any of the gold definitely not any of the Golden Age #1s. Blimey.
You got the Vampirella. You got the Vampirella one.
Oh yeah, is that silver? I suppose that's Silver Age, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
late
late silver, early bronze. Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Vampirella #1. That was what, 1969?
September 1969, cover dated, like me.
Yeah. That's the gray man. How sometimes people, are born in diverse areas, but they're meant to be together. That's Gray Man and Vampirella.
Yeah. That's your married book there, isn't it? Bob, with the cover and the comic that born out of wedlock or whatever. Married together.
Proof that CGC is not paying attention.
Bob is a comic minister. You know, he performs marriage ceremonies. Yes.
CGC is going to take a lot of books out of the market for people to just want to have the comics. I've never been a fan of them, and I think what they're doing is how do I call it?
Travesty of justice.
Almost. Yeah.
They're creating giant collectors cards, is what they're doing.
Yeah. And I've seen people trying to sell
with those covers on them. You know.
Yeah. But I've seen people try to sell stuff for amazingly stupid prices just because they've been slabbed. Like I once saw a guy trying to sell Brigade number 2. Now for $88, and what's that? 50 cents for the comic, $87.50 for the slab.
Wow,
that sounds about right. Although the comic is a little high priced, I think.
Do you guys ever use these slab your own kits at home? This is what I've moved to for my Golden Age stuff. So I put everything in these, you know, you put them in, and if you want to take them out and read them, you can.
Yeah.
They give them a nice case, and then you print your own little label up there, and good to go.
Yeah.
How much are those, Bub?
They're about the same price. I mean, by the time you're done, you should buy them in bulk because it saves money. But if you were to buy just one and get the label made by them for you and everything, to where you didn't need anything, it just showed up with the case, and you throw the book in there. It's a little over $20 per case.
I see D-Run Comics does his own slabs. Have you seen them?
Yeah, he does. Yeah. These are the same cases he uses. He just puts his own label on there.
He just puts his own label on there.
Yeah.
I'll stick with Mylar, and on the Golden Age, I put them in Mylar and then stick them in a white envelope as well to protect them from any possible UV light.
Really?
Yeah.
I was going to say,
here I am with my window wide open.
Yeah.
Not a fan of UV light in comic books.
I let the light in once a week or so, if there's even any sun.
You were talking about different tape earlier on sellotape. Is it actually necessary to tape down the bag?
No,
I don't tape mine down anymore at all because I've had a couple of tape pulls and I just don't see.
What do you do with them?
I used to just tuck them in the back.
Yeah. And I have one front and back, like Roger does, one front, one back, and just tuck the flap in.
Well, if it's tight enough, I guess it's okay. When I'm going through I have a cabinet that keeps all my comics, and when I'm going through it, I always flip that flap back up, and it stands up, and that drives me crazy. When I'm fast sifting through the books, the flap comes out of the bag if it's not taped down.
Yeah,
that drives me insane.
Yeah, you have to constantly be, cognizant of having that flap down, because you leave it up, it'll butterfly, and you'll never get that thing back down. Yeah, and you can't see all the comics. There are downsides to it, but it sure does save a lot of space. I'll tell you that.
One of the things I like about the My Light 4 is on the newer comics, you don't really need a board because it's so thick, and you can just stick it in there and tape it down. But with Mylar and My Lights, you almost have to tape it because otherwise it doesn't work. With poly bags, you can tuck it in, no problem.
Yeah.
My Lights are
more difficult. Quite springy, the My Lights, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like, here's an example. This is a modern book that I got, but it's a fairly expensive book, and I gave a lot less for it than it's worth. But so I don't want to get it slabbed because I'm mad at CGC right now, so I'm not going to get into that.
A lot of people are, Bob. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm boycotting them for a while. I'm letting all my CGC stuff cool. So for now, I'm just keeping it in a top loader, but it's also in Mylar. And because the top loader, the Mylar is so long, it comes down to about there. And so the top loader holds the Mylar down, and then I have it in a clear backing board. It's just a piece of acrylic, the same size as a comic. And so that works for me. And there's the book. But you can see in my last video, I think I put up last night, that I showed this book off.
Yeah, I
and so it has So I just kind of,
Try
that
to remember if I have that one or not.
that's not even put in. That's just a free flap there, and then I just tuck it down and put it in the top loader, and it stays perfect. And no muss, no fuss, and very little cost too.
Nice, very nice.
And with the top loader, you can or you don't really need any kind of backing board at all.
Yeah, you don't need a back. Well, I mean, I've got the acrylic backing board just so that if there's any kind of drop, if I drop this and it hits down, then that book, there's enough room in there that the book will move.
Yeah.
Is it in a bag inside the top loader?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I've got it with an acrylic backing board, a Mylar bag, and the top loader. So that's pretty secure, and it presents well.
I've got one top loader that somebody sent me when I bought Werewolf by Night 32. It came with, I'm assuming it's a top loader because it looks like I've seen other people's channels, and I put it in bags and balls and stuff. And I squeezed it in there softly as I could. But how do you keep your bag? Do you keep it really tight, your comics? Everyone prefer to have their comics tightly in the bags. I like to have mine loose because so when you put them in, you don't catch bits of like tiny little tears, especially on the crimply Marvel covers. I like to have it loose as possible so that I can get it in easy if I accidentally turning a corner over or catching on something and making it work.
I don't buy modern bags.
It's
all standard or silver gold.
Yeah, I don't buy
that's what I
either.
do.
Yeah.
I'm only silver. I don't use modern bags; they're too tight. I use nothing but silver, and I put one board in with the comic as I slide it in. And then after I have that in, I add the second board for strength on my key books. And then it makes it good and tight. The book doesn't move, and I'm having damaged the book taking it in and out. And I do the same thing when I take the book back out. First, I remove one of the backing boards to make it nice and loose, and then I take the comic out. That way, there's no damage or no potential damage from the bag and the comic. Of course, DS Comics, he can't figure that out. So he's always like jamming in a Golden Age bag in Mylar, and it cuts off the cover, and he gets all mad and blames the Mylar. I'm like, just slide it in with the board and then put another board. He's a lost cause.
Yeah, not a Mylar. Well, listen, guys, I got to get going. I need to take the dog for a walk. It's her time. So it's been fun. Great to be here with Chaos and Paolo. I've never been on with you guys. You guys rock. You guys are awesome.
Cheers for coming.
Yeah, thanks, Gray. And I'll see you Monday, Bub. And Gray, hopefully I'll see you on some other live stream soon too.
Yeah, I can't stay up all night like I used to. So I've not seen No Faces chat. I didn't see your blinking auction, and I didn't see Grader's note because I'm like.
You should check out the Grader's notes. That was a pretty good episode, actually. You should check that out. Yeah, we did Hulk 181. Yeah.
I'll have to get a camera that I can hook up to this computer so that you can actually see my ugly mug.
Cool.
Yeah, please do. Okay, guys, have a good day.
See you later.
Bye, man. Rock.
See you, Raj.
Cool. Anyone got any subjects they want to talk about?
No, I didn't have much to do today. I'm gonna do some. I'm gonna clean out the garage. I've got all these shipping boxes. What do you guys do when you get all these boxes coming in? I mean, if you don't throw them out as you get them, sometimes I mail books out and ship them. So I try and keep the good boxes, but then I end up with I have a mountain of cardboard boxes in the garage.
I've ended up with sack loads of like Gemini mailers and that I was thinking of reusing because I had some about 4 short boxes of doubles and stuff I didn't want. I was trying to sell, so I used a few of them to post them out. And then I had one of my Facebook trader guys came over and we basically did a swap. He gave me a load of stuff that I wanted, and I gave him a load of stuff that I didn't want. And I said, I've got loads of mailers here. You're posting out a lot. Do you want some of these mailers? So I ended up giving him like a small stack of mailers kind of thing, but I suppose I might as well sort of throw them out. I suppose it feels like a shame to get rid of them, but they're just taking up space.
Yeah, I'm gonna burn them.
Where I just recycle all of it.
Yeah. They don't even have recycling in my area, so it's so the cardboard I pull out and I just burn it.
But you see, where I work, they have a baler, so I can just take them in there.
Oh, nice.
Apparently, Matilda's going to do a live show and call it Bags and Balls.
That sounds good.
She thinks that's what I'm saying when I'm saying bags and balls. She thinks I'm saying bags and balls. So she's going to make a live stream
there's
called
London
that.
accent.
There's a channel. I don't know if you guys watch ETA Nick, but he has a very heavy accent from I don't know where he's from, wherever he's from, right? So he has a new series that he's been putting out the last couple of weeks. You know, like that show on Discovery Channel, they do the Mythbusters.
Yeah.
You know, they do the Mythbusters, and where they bust myths or whatever in TV show.
That was a great
show.
show.
He's doing one, and he's called it the same thing. But every time he says it, I swear he's saying MILF Busters. And I keep hearing him say, and he keeps saying, and here's the next MILF we're going to bust, and I'm going to bust another MILF next week. And
that's a whole different kind of
comment,
show.
but I love it.
Sign us
That's the
up.
show I want to see.
I had a similar thing with the comic core. Everyone, they're the comic core. And everyone's saying comic core. And I think, who's this comic whore they keep talking about? It took me a while until I saw it written down and I realized what they were talking about. I was like, oh, that makes more sense. Now that I think about it.
I thought maybe they did that on purpose to be a little cheeky about it, but it sure sounds like to me also.
We're all comic cores.
Yeah. It's not just my mind then. Cool. I'll post up the one more time, see if anyone wants to drop in and join us. Anyone got any comics they want to show? What have you got any comics you want to show, Paolo? You're always showing these lovely books that you pick up. You picked anything up lately?
Nah, I haven't bought anything since November, and this year I am in serious financial dire straits. So I don't know when I'm gonna gonna buy comics. There's a comic a convention today about 100 miles from where I am, and Portuguese editions of two Dylan Dog books. Dylan Dog is an Italian comic. I think there was a crossover planned with Batman. I'm not sure if it came out, but Dylan Dog outsells even just in Italy sells more than Batman in the United States, and it's only available on newsstands.
Okay.
I seem to remember a Dylan Dog from the 80s or 90s.
Yeah, Dark Horse put out some comics, and I think there was a movie.
Yes, I remember that. I think the guy who plays Superman was in that. Brandon Routh. I think he played Dylan Dog.
Okay, I never heard of that.
No, the Italians have their the Italians have their own thing going on, and they're not usually well known outside their country. I know that they have massive fans in Brazil, although Tex Wheeler is, and there's another Western. What was it called? Zagor. That's popular in Croatia, from what I heard. I'm a fan of a science fiction one called Nathan Never, but any foreign editions they never last. So I'm doing that collection in Italian.
There is still like comics that can survive, like it just I don't know if it's capturing the public imagination as much as it used to. But you say you've got that comic there in Italy, which is outselling Batman in America. I mean, I don't know. There's not much in the way of comics in the UK anymore. Not like the industry that we used to have. There used to be like tons of weekly comics in the UK, and now there's probably 2 or something. I'm not too sure. I mean, even the US.
Arbino and Dandy still going on?
I don't think they are. I think they might have merged. I think they might have an annual. I think they do an annual or something like that. I'm not too sure.
Mm-hmm. Well, your comics format was terrible for long-term survival because something with only 28 pages. Eventually the price per page is not going to be worth it. So that's why here comics anymore. It's all going to bookstore. Everybody's doing hardcovers, and only the European format are doing 48 pages. Everyone else is trying to do 100 pages, even for original graphic novels.
I seem to remember a digest-sized Nathan Never that was published in the 90s. And I'm pretty sure I've got some somewhere, but I off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you where.
Yeah, I think they published 4 issues of 3 Bonelli titles. So it was Dylan Dog, Nathan Never, and Martin Mystery.
Yeah,
Not in
yeah, that's
mystery.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They sound like
Martin Mystery
Dan
at the
Dare
Hey!
takeoff.
Hey.
Spider
Come on,
Comic
guys.
7, welcome. Kentucky Connection, yeah.
Yeah,
Hey.
that's right.
How you
guys
doing,
doing?
Spider Comics?
Doing you guys. How you guys doing?
Hey,
That's
he's
what
not too
sounds-
far from me. What are you, maybe 100 miles from me or so?
I think so. It's about right. Yeah, about right at 100 miles or so, probably. So
Nice.
not too
Still need to
bad.
do some hunting.
Are you in the mountains?
Kentucky connection.
Yeah.
Kentucky's
Now
good
we're in the
fishing
flats.
too.
No mountains for us. Those mountain people in Kentucky, you gotta.
Yeah, Appalachians,
Just-
isn't it? The Appalachians.
Yeah, they're rough. There's some parts of Kentucky where they don't see the sunlight all day. Like literally, the sun comes up and the mountains are so high that they just live in darkness until maybe an hour of the day they get a little bit of sun and then it goes down over the mountains again.
Hey
Yeah.
Jeff, didn't see you
That's
there.
scary stuff.
Sorry.
Hey.
Hey,
Hey Jeff.
What you got to
Hey,
show us,
Bob.
Jeff? Got some new comics to show us?
not really. I was just on with Stay Puft earlier.
Oh yeah. What was the theme today on Stay Puft? Sometimes you have a theme, wasn't it? Fantasy or nothing like that.
No, it's California Blend, some local artists from Florida.
Why is it called California Blend then? If it's from Florida, is that the name
Maybe
of the
that's the
comic?
blend part.
Well, that's her name. That's her name. So.
A lady's name is California Blend. So, okay, it's a strange name.
Well, maybe she
Well,
loves
it's
California.
Gabby, but they
and
named
moved.
her probably.
well,
I didn't catch all that.
well, folks, I'm dry, so that means
Yeah.
I probably have things I'm supposed to be doing.
Is that
Fueled up and
Kentucky
ready to go.
moonshine?
Yeah.
I believe all of us do, but that doesn't matter.
All right, I'm gonna go burn some Gemini mailers. I'll catch you
Okay,
guys
mate.
later.
Yeah, cool.
That's
Cool.
one way.
Yeah.
That's one way to recycle.
That's right. See you blokes later.
Hey, comic G man, you can join us if you want. You've always got comics to show. So what have you been up to today, Spider Comics?
Not a lot, man. I work night shift, so I pretty much just woke up, to be honest with you. So
Yeah.
I seen this live stream going on, so I wanted to check in, see how everybody's doing.
Yeah,
Enjoying the
cool.
fun.
I just let everyone just jump in because I have nothing to say. So I'll just let
He
everyone
doesn't
jump
have,
in and see
he
what
doesn't have to
happens.
think that way. He just does what he
Robert
does.
should jump in. Robert got the stream right under him, so he should be able to jump in if he wants
Hold
to.
on, here he is. Here he is.
Oh, Green Man.
Never a stream. Never a stream he won't jump in, I reckon.
Hey,
I like it when he's sitting like that and he looks like Galactus's horns are coming out the top of his head. That's always good when he's sitting like that. He's Galactus anyway, right there, yeah. Exactly. Actually, I just host it and let other people chat. Oh, what's this you got here?
I have an unboxing if you would like me to open it on your show.
Yeah, hold on. Let's see what Spider Comic's showing off first.
Yeah.
We'll quick look at what he's got to show, and then we'll have a look at your unboxing.
Sure.
Oh, sorry about that. I didn't
It's
think
all right.
I
No,
seen-
let's see. I
I
want
didn't
to
pull up the box at the same time. Sorry
come
about
on
that.
books.
Show and tell,
I-
mate.
I found this recently. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this. It's a parody comic of Crisis on Infinite Earths.
That looks
And-
like that looks like something from the picture in the background looks like something from I want to say G.I. Joe.
Yeah, it looks like Destro.
Yeah.
It's really it's kind of strange. I just wonder if anybody's ever seen it before. I just randomly
I
found
think I
it.
have the second issue of that.
What company is it?
That's pretty cool.
Blackthorn Publishing.
Blackthorn.
Yeah, Blackthorn. Yeah.
Okay,
it's
I
like
found it on a
I think
GCD.
Never heard of it.
It's supposed to be a parody, I think, of Crisis on Infinite Earths because it's called Freak Out on Infinite Earth. So I guess it's like a parody type comic.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are fun though. Some of those are really
We did a lot of those in the 80s and 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I've just never seen it before. I was curious if any of you guys have ever seen it.
Never seen that one.
Is it good? Have you read it yet?
Yeah, sometimes that weird stuff shows up. Like every once in a while. No, Boris the Bear was pretty good. I think that was pretty good. I've seen it around, and I felt tempted to pick it up. They should do a large hardcover with all the stories. That'd be an interesting format to have them all.
That would be a really large hardcover.
Like Concrete. There was they were contemporaries on Dark Horse Presents.
Who said Concrete? Because that was an excellent series.
Yeah, it was.
Underrated.
Mm-hmm. I found Freak Out here on the Grand Comics database. The comics
that's funny. In the 90s, Concrete wasn't underrated in the early 90s and late 80s. But then now, nobody knows about it.
Nope.
No, just as old people.
It's one of those I saw around, but I never bought any, to be honest. I saw the character around a fair bit, and I think he won a few awards, didn't it? But not one that I ever picked up. Because I'm just into superhero stuff, to be honest. The odd
it's not a superhero.
I know. That's why I wasn't into it. That's why I got it out.
You guys like him?
Yeah, I kind of remember when I first kind of delved a little bit outside superheroes, and I was still buying stuff in Portuguese, and when it was around the time when Marvel went bankrupt, and their licensing contracts were suspended. So I bought. That's when I first bought those Italian comics, the Brazilian editions, and I bought Tex Wheeler, which is the longest running comic in Italy. It's right now it's on issue 700 and something, almost 800, going back to the early 50s.
Was that Cowboy Comic?
Yeah, Cowboy Comic, and they tried Dylan Dog as well, and this looks interesting.
Is this your mystery box? Is it a mystery box or something you just bought yourself from eBay?
No, he was talking about import. No, I got this from Vigilante. Actually, sent me this from Germany.
Die Spinne.
Die Spinne.
Love it.
Yeah.
I heard you say the Brazilian and something else.
Yeah, because I'm from Portugal, and we imported the Marvel comics from Brazil because we only had European comics here,
right,
and Disney. Although the Disneys were made by the same Brazilian company, but they had an office here, they reassembled the Disney comics and they imported the Marvel and DC. One funny thing that we have in Brazilian comics is that Marvel and since they were made by the same publisher, there's ads for DC in Marvel comics and vice versa.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Did you ever get any British comics in Portugal? Did you ever get 2000 AD and Action and all those kind of ones there?
Not in the newsstand, but there were there was a lot of stuff that was published in Commando and stuff like that was published here in Black and White series.
Yeah.
There was a feature, Battler Britain. It was very famous here. And it was published at a time when, because we were still a fascist country in the 1950s, so every foreign hero for the children had to be made Portuguese. They were given Portuguese names. So Battler Britain became Major Alvega, and instead of he was still in the RAF, but they had to keep saying in the translation that he was half Portuguese.
Wow.
They made a TV series. Yeah, and they give funny names to Flash Gordon and Ben Bolt, and they were a bit ridiculous.
I'm sure there's been plenty of other examples of that kind of thing happening. I can't think. I'm sure there was. I can't remember what it was now. There's something where they changes the characters over, like in different countries.
Yeah. No, I was listening to Ken's latest podcast. And they were talking about the differences that they had to do for the Lebanese comics and the Russian comics. And I've picked up a couple of French Marvels when they were for sale in the airport. Now they don't have comics in the airport anymore. And they changed the names. Isn't the character names isn't really the most important thing, because they translate the character's name to the equivalent word in the language. Sometimes they do some changes, but for some strange reason they changed Reed and Sue Richards into Red and Jane Richards.
Is it Pierre Parker then? Pierre Parker is
No,
Spider-Man.
it's Peter Parker.
It's still Peter.
Although in Brazil in the 50s, they changed his name to Pedro Prado.
All right. So we have a look at what G-Man's got then. What's this? You got is it a mystery box or
No, actually, it was
on eBay?
Bueller Comics Bueller had an auction.
Ah.
He sent me a bonus book here. He goes, "Do you have this one with a big smiley face?" Nope.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
You know, that's my favorite. But this is if anybody knows, I'm going to show a little female. So I hope it's okay. It's clean. Don't worry. But
I'm not worried.
I know the history behind Betty Page, and I got to run.
Who did, babe?
I'm on a stream, babe.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
Yeah, I know, baby. Okay. Here's one. Here's another good one.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Yep, her.
Oh yeah.
Now you'll notice something that you'll find ironic. She's not a redhead.
Betty being bad.
She's a brunette. But these are awesome. It had to definitely go in my collection because I it's a sad story behind her if you ever watched her documentary. And yeah,
Why is
big
the
fan
blue
of
tape
her.
on that one?
Yep. She was totally ahead of her time at the time she was doing these photos. But yeah, that's it. So yeah, there you go, buddy.
You have to talk amongst yourself because I'm eating me lunch. Garlic bread.
What you eating there, pal?
Yeah, what are you eating?
Just a bit of garlic bread because we're having pasta later, so pasta and meatballs. So
Never have enough pasta. Trust me, I'm Italian. I know exactly what you mean. Never have enough.
I'm probably chewing too loudly with my mouth open though.
So I'm really curious. I know where I live. Grayman, I know where you live. The other gentlemen here, where are they from? This is international, right?
Yeah, they're mostly Americans actually. Because me and Paolo are in Europe.
Okay.
Paolo's in Portugal and everyone else is in the
Nice
States.
to meet you, gentlemen. It's nice to see other people who love the same stuff.
Yeah, I'm in Texas.
Texas man.
Where
Texas,
are you?
which is a different country.
Ah,
yeah. It's his own country.
His own country, that's for sure.
It's big enough.
What's that?
I think it's big enough, isn't it? I think Texas is bigger than the whole of the United Kingdom, isn't it?
Yeah.
Bob was saying earlier on he's got a 6-hour drive to a convention or something. If I did drive, if I was to drive 6 hours in any direction, I'd probably be in the sea, I should think.
Well, unless you go through the tunnel.
Yeah, true.
Should take you about 6 hours to get to Edinburgh.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
Actually, possibly a bit under that. I think. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm gonna. Has anyone got anything they want to talk about or show comics? I've got things to be. I can't be chatting now. I've got to be eating.
Well, I think Jeff is gonna like this. Had somebody send this to me.
Evil Ernie, innit?
Ernie.
Two over.
Oh yeah, Evil Ernie, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's pretty gruesome.
Yeah, I love it.
Brian Polito. It's Polito's signature too.
But as brunettes go, I think I prefer Betty Page.
By the way, talking about that, tell me what the context is.
That's the infamous one where she gives birth to her own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Her own son.
Her son impregnates her and gives birth to himself or something like that. It's a bit
That's
of
a nice
story.
one.
Yeah.
Commonly referred to as the rape issue.
Yeah, I think
Something
that's
like
what
that.
I heard. I was
Yeah.
kind of shocked.
Yep.
It wasn't a very well thought out story. You kind of think to
No.
yourself.
They pulled
Like I read it when I was 9 or 10, so that kind of flew over my head at the time. It was just some weird science fiction shit, but later, whoa, what the? Especially because then they published Avengers Annual number 10, and Carol was complaining about the story, and she was very upset. So that's when it hit me.
Wow.
Well, they should have just sort of retconned it that he like controlled everybody's mind or something like that. The fact that they let her go with him, it would make much more sense if he had some kind of heightened charisma and was able to overpower all their sort of common sense. You know what I mean? Or I'm surprised they didn't like.
The way it was
like
written in
that.
Avengers Annual 10, basically everybody just admitted they were being a clueless asshole,
Yeah.
and that's when Carol kind of left the team. She was powerless at
Pretty much.
at the time show, so.
That was after she had her power stolen by Rogue.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. I just finished reading the Spider-Woman run, the first Spider-Woman run. I was reading up a little bit about her on Wikipedia. Yeah, she's had a baby now, apparently. Has anyone read that first Spider-Woman run? It was I quite enjoyed it. But...
I've never had enough of them to read them.
Okay.
The Claremont issues are best.
Yeah.
Well, that's true with most comics.
I didn't mind all of it, to be honest. I'm not as fussy as some. I kind of just get on with it. I don't get too sort of bogged down about it. It was a bit different, and some of the relationships were a bit daft. Like she met one guy, literally, she bumped into him, tried to run away from him. The next thing you know, they're kissing. And so what was that all about? Where did that happen? It was her relationships were a bit strange. Yeah, that's probably what it was. It's probably that never happened to me. That can't be real.
That's like that's like what I like about I like the whole hard story to find about the Scarlet Witch. Same kind of concept in a way, but interesting outcome.
Any of you guys King the Conqueror fans by chance?
Any what, sorry?
But like King the Conqueror. Any of you guys fans by chance?
Oh, the villain.
What about him? Ooh,
yeah.
Pick this up. Really like this.
Like that.
It's I don't even know who done the cover, to be honest.
But cover.
Yeah, I don't know. If this for both.
Like it.
It's a variant. It's like they've done several of these.
Sure.
One of the Galactus ones I really liked on Amazing Spider-Man. I think it was Eddie Granoff that done the cover on it, but it was really cool. It was the same Fantastic Four villains cover.
Comic Book Realm, you could probably look it up and find out who did the cover.
I'll have to check that out. I was kind of curious. I really like it. I hope they use Kang in the MCU eventually. I just think he's a cool character.
It looks like a more realistic take on the character, doesn't it? More like kind of, visceral and lifelike looking take. Just want to check. Can you guys hear me chewing?
Of course. We just ignore it.
Damn.
Of
course we hear you. You're eating.
You're right there, buddy. You're good.
I can hear it in my own head, obviously, because I put the microphones over there. Hopefully, no one can hear my slurping noises. So, I'll have to just dissolve it under my tongue.
Oh, good, buddy. You're good.
Just eat.
Yeah.
Enjoy yourself.
Hey, does anyone remember the series Chris Claremont did for DC Comics called Sovereign 7?
That was rubbish.
I've heard of it. I've never read it.
No, don't read it.
It was probably one of his worst things, but I was at a Diamond exposition or whatever it is, where they get the retailers together and meet. And Chris Claremont was there pitching it, and I have a pre-release copy with his autograph, which would be cool, except he autographed it to my wife. He said, "What's your wife's name?" I told him, "Okay," and he autographed it to her. That's one way to make sure I don't try to sell it.
Yep. Too funny.
That was the same time I got the Alex Ross print that's autographed of Superman.
Nice.
I didn't know they'd sign them like that unless you requested that they would like write somebody's name down. I thought they would just sign their name.
He was just.
He was trolling you by the sound.
He was having fun, is what he was doing, and I don't care.
Isn't that Sovereign 7 the one where it turns out it was all just a dream at the end or something crazy like that?
I never read the last couple issues, so I don't know.
Okay, yeah. It was like there was like, I don't know, deposed Empress from some far off galaxy hiding out on Earth. And I swear at the end they sort of wake up and they're, I don't know, working in a supermarket checkout or something, and the whole thing was just a dream. It's so crazy like that.
That sounds like something Chris Claremont might.
Yeah, it does.
Especially if his comic wasn't going to be picked up permanently, you know.
Yeah. I think that's what he did. Why he did it, I think he wanted to sort of like basically throw a spanner in the winch because it wasn't being taken on. He didn't want them to carry on using the characters or something. So he just thought, I'd just make it as ridiculous as possible so they can't be used again. That kind of. I think that must have been what it was about. But I was never that massive into Chris Claremont, to be honest. I've just found. I think he started off all right, but I think his ideas got too crazy, especially in the X-Men. I just went off the X-Men when everybody was everyone else's son and daughter and time. It just did my head in, and like no story seemed to ever get resolved. It seemed
That
to drag
sounds
out
like
forever
what
and ever.
happened after Claremont left it.
Maybe it was then. Maybe I wasn't paying attention to who was actually writing it. I'm terrible at remembering who did the writing and who did the.
But his work on the X-Men from the 70s, that's actually worth reading. 80s, somewhat, 90s. It's good to fill up the empty space on a comic book box.
Yeah, after Fall of the Mutants, when he went to Australia, that's when it became when I pretty much lost interest. But then Jim Lee started drawing in and I was more interested in that. I never understood why people like Mark Silvestri. I've always found his art to be amateurish.
Really, I like Silvestri's art on some things. Depends on what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can say, my love for H.P. Lovecraft, right, Grandma?
Yeah.
Okay. I can show you something. Most recent thing that I finally got my hands into, and that's this one right here. Okay?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
This is a lot of fun, you guys. These are a lot of fun. And
yeah, I've got that.
What's really cool.
You need number 2 or number 3, which is the first Necronomicon in Marvel Comics, or is it number 4?
Number 4. That's the beginning story. Here's number 3.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice shiny Mylar there too.
But I'm a Mylar person. Sorry.
I love it.
But I'm still waiting for issue 2 to show up. Still hasn't showed up. I'm trying to get the first 20 issues of this run.
Right. The first 5 issues of that run have original stories.
Yes. Yes.
And after that, it's only reprints.
Exactly. And then
the reason I bought the first issue when it came out was the Gil Kane cover.
Yeah.
I'm collecting that one as well, actually, because I started collecting it because I think number 2 or 3 is got the first appearance of the Necronomicon in Marvel Comics, and that's why I started collecting that run. Yeah, so and I think a couple of the early stories are adaptations of H.P. Lovecraft stories as well.
Excellent one. And the funny thing is that I'm noticing there's been a lot of shows that have been out on Netflix. Lock and Key. A couple other ones, H.P. Lovecraft backdrop, right away.
Yeah. Very influential and horror.
That's something I keep telling people. Every 20 to 30 years, everything repeats in comics. 20 years after the horror of the 50s, it was the 70s, and they started putting out horror books again. A lot of it was reprints, but there was a lot of good original stories. House of Mystery, House of Secrets, Journey into Mystery, and then Marvel did all those reprint books too.
Yep.
Tower of Shadows.
Yeah. Which I believe that became Creatures on the Loose, didn't it?
Yeah, it did, yeah. And I know that one because September 1969 was the first issue.
And then the most
the Journey to Mystery.
Sorry?
I'm here in the Grand Comics database. The Necronomicon appears. Journey into Mystery number 3. The Shambler from the Stars. Adapting a novel by Robert Bloch.
All right.
And it has Jim Starlin art.
A lot of his early stuff was like homages. He wrote in the Cthulhu Mythos himself, didn't he? So.
Mm-hmm.
Can't beat Bernie Wrightson, says Werewolf by lunchtime.
That's true.
I like Tom Mandrake's art. He should do more horror comics. But I don't see, is he actually doing anything anymore, Tom Mandrake? I've not seen him been mentioned, or does anyone know what he's doing?
I don't.
I know he might have been doing something in newspaper strips. I'm not sure.
Maybe.
My most recent find.
But he's got really, really good, like, horror kind of suitable art. Like he did the Spectre and he did some Martian Manhunter, and he's got really good shadow work. Really makes for sort of good horror fodder, you know?
See, those Fantastic Four, that's when Fantastic Four, you could read it.
Yep.
And it was good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Those are some sweet covers. Metal Man.
Another Metal Man I don't have.
That's one of Roger's favorites, Metal Man.
I used to love Metal Men when I was young. Back in the 60s, I could hardly wait till they came out on the newsstand. Buy it, sit on the curb, and read it while drinking that new drink they called a Slurpee.
It's funny. I wrote on these a long time ago. It's like 1962, third appearance of Metal Men. Duh, really? Third appearance? And then fourth appearance, 1962, Metal Men. That's funny. 40. Yeah.
Well, it was in Showcase.
Showcase. Yeah, Showcase presents.
What, 2 or 3 issues?
Mm-hmm.
And then it got its own title.
Yep.
So, G-Man, Morbius is your favourite character, isn't he?
Yes, he is. One of them. Other than Nolan Rad. Nolan Rad.
Right.
There's only
Silver Surfer. What about Spider Comics? You got a favourite character?
Yeah. Well, Spider-Man. I guess that's kind of obvious. But,
yeah, I did wonder. I wonder if the clue was in the name.
I like villains just as much as I like heroes. I think I don't know. I think without villains, you'd have heroes rescuing cats out of trees and stuff like that. So
yeah. So who's your favorite villain then?
I really like Red Skull a lot. Here he is fighting Dr. Doom.
See, yeah, I'm right up there with like Dr. Doom. Yeah, when you're talking about villains.
But Galactus, if you want to call Galactus a villain, some people do, some people don't. He's kind of more of a force, but he, if you consider him a villain, Galactus would be my favorite. I know people differ on that, but he's sort of, I don't know, he's sort of a force, I guess.
He's more of a natural disaster.
Yeah, I've heard people argue about it. I mean, I'm not going to argue. I don't really care either way, but I like the character in general. I think that's one of Stan Lee and Jack Kirby's best. Like that whole trilogy from 48 to 50 of FF. That's my favorite part of FF. Probably right in there. I don't know what it is about Galactus. It's just I like the way that they drew the character, and he looks different over the years. Like they've kind of kept changing him to kind of keep up with whatever era he was in.
Sure.
But he's probably my favorite character as far as, like I said, if you consider him a villain. He is pretty close to Spider-Man, and then I actually like Cyclops a lot. Like people crap on him a lot, but I really like the character. I don't know why.
He eats worlds. What's not to like? He eats whole worlds.
I think of Galactus as a black hole.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
That's I think of a black hole.
DC, my favorite character would be Superman, of course.
I thought he was.
And for Marvel, it would be Captain Marvel.
Awesome.
Not
one character that they were brought back.
The ones that came after, but I like the original one with the green and white costume. And once he went to the nega bands and all of that, it turned to crap.
That's another one. September 1969 was when he changed his costume and got the nega bands.
Yep.
I know because the only Captain Marvel comic that I've got because it's my birth month. So
the green and white looks awesome. I love the green and white. That was, to me, that's Captain Marvel. But
yeah. Also,
they gave him the nega bands.
Yeah.
When they gave him the Negabends, it was supposed to be an attempt at turning him into DC's Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Because he gets the Negabends, it makes any change to Rick Jones, and then Rick Jones was always wearing a red shirt with a yellow collar, like Billy Batson. So
Rick Jones
Thomas
was basically Snapper Carr.
Yeah.
Rick Jones was what?
Rick Jones was to Marvel as Snapper Carr is to the Justice League.
Pain in the ass.
Yeah, that and a sidekick.
Yeah. What about you, Paolo? You got a favorite character, favorite villain?
Yeah, well, it was like Avengers. Kind of gravitated to team books. So I like to follow the Avengers and the X-Men. But solo series, he went along with whatever was going on with Captain America. Because I prefer when he's doing high adventure spy stuff, not when they're going about what does it mean to be the symbol of America. I don't care about any of that. I like to see him with Nick Fury running around, getting rid of Hydra.
Now, for villains, of course, DC, there's really only one true villain in DC, and that's the Joker. For Marvel, Doctor Doom, no question.
I like the character arc.
I now have 3 out of the 4 key issues of Tarzan. I have the first Dell issue, the first Gold Key issue, and the first DC issue. I don't have the first appearance of Boy yet.
How many Tarzan comics were there over the years?
200 or 300. And just in that one run that went from Dell to Gold Key to DC. I'm not including the Marvels.
And Malibu's. I have a couple of trade paperbacks with the Malibu from the Malibu series, and they're set in the present day.
Is he still being used now? Then is somebody still bringing out comics for him at the moment?
Oh yeah.
Which company?
Hey guys, I'm gonna head out.
I think it was Dynamite.
Yeah, I think it is Dynamite.
But I'm not sure they have the rights to the trademark because the first novels are in the public domain, so you can adapt those, but you can't use the Tarzan trademark. So I think they have to call it Lord of the Jungle.
All right.
Oh, where did the guy? Where did the other gentleman go? Where did Spider go?
He said goodbye. He had to go off.
Nice. It was nice meeting you. Sorry to be. I wasn't being rude.
So who was it? Was it Burroughs made Tarzan? Was it Burroughs?
Yeah, Edgar Rice Burroughs. But I don't think it's been 75 years since he died, so it would still be under copyright.
It's internationally, it might be, but in the United States, it was. I think the first one still came before the Sonny Bono Copyright Extension Act.
Oh, okay.
So they went to the public domain before that.
So it's not owned by like his family or nothing like that, or.
Oh, his family owns the rights to the character. They have a trademark on the name, and trademarks are forever.
Right.
If you keep them, I think in Europe we can't trademark name the names of literary works if the literary work is in the public domain. That's why everybody can do Three Musketeers. Nobody can trademark the Three Musketeers.
Everyone can do it. It's like a lot of the Lovecraft stuff. People can reprint it and use.
Well, there is a trademark on Three Musketeers, but that's only for a candy bar.
Which is lousy, by the way. Nougat. What's nougat?
I have no idea, but it's tasty.
No, it's not.
I think we don't put the T at the end. I think we call it nougat over here. Is it not nougat? French, I think.
Yeah, it's French.
Yeah, nougat. Yeah. It's like a chewy stuff. I don't mind it.
It's kind of made with walnuts and honey and caramel, I think.
You have to watch your fillings.
That's what nougat is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's probably why I don't like it. because it's walnuts. I can eat a walnut, but I do not like walnuts in my baked goods. Miss G knows it. I don't like it in my cookies. I don't like it in my bread, but I can eat it raw. Raw, fine. Anywhere else, that's probably why. Just like another nut I don't like either. But anyway.
Almonds?
No, I love almonds, dude. Almonds are great for headaches. Raw almonds. If you eat raw almonds, pecan's awesome. But if you eat raw almonds and you got a headache, pop 10. You'll get rid of your headache in like less than 15 minutes.
I have pecan trees on my property here. I decided to make some pecan butter one year, and I made it and put it in the refrigerator and let it sit for a couple of days. Went back to get it, couldn't find it. Asked my wife where it was, and she went, "It's good." Make some more. She ate it with a spoon.
Love it. So I just got done reading this, Gray Man. I enjoyed it.
What's that?
I don't get it very often. It's for witches.
Oh yeah.
This is actually was very well, and this is a jock art. What attracts me to this cover wasn't the name; it was the art that caught my eye right away.
It's like a photo almost.
I knew who the artist was right off the top, so I bought it because of the art, and I didn't realize what it was until I got it. And I'm like, oh, I wanted to read this. So I was actually able to read the first 6 issues. Not that, actually a good story. And another note, found a store within 20 miles of me, a bookstore, an album store. They sell vinyl, they sell old books, they sell comic books. I'm so happy. The closest LCS to me is 87 miles away.
Is it called Paradise? Because that's what it should be called.
I'm really happy. You have no idea, because everything I get, I have to ship in because it's so far away. But I picked up a couple books that I think you might like that I'm reading. And this is kind of a rehash of some stories, but here's one.
Cthulhu Lies Dreaming.
Love it. Love it. Loving this. And this is a part of mini stories. But what's funny, dude, is when you read the synopsis part of this, it's about dreams. In the very beginning, the first couple of pages is about dreams and how these deceiving is a lie. And then there's a bunch of short mini stories in here. And it's funny how when I read some of these stories, how I'm seeing references to shows that are out, like Lock and Key, like a bunch of them that are referenced.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Even Myth, the movie Myth.
A lot of basic ideas were basically were made by Lovecraft.
Yeah.
Lovecraft and Poe kind of made all the blinking tropes that everyone else has followed, I think.
Poe,
since then.
I idolize him. I got his book too. I love Allan Poe poems. They're great. These guys are classic, classic. But another one, because you had an idea, and I want to pass it along to you, great man, and the gentleman in the chat. I don't know if you guys ever play D&D.
Yeah.
But for a long time now, me and another buddy of mine, been wanting to play an online D&D, like a live chat like this.
I've been saying that to Surly Tim. Do you know Surly Tim's Fun Bunker? He does a comic stuff, and he's a good gamer. He makes all his own little dungeon walls and traps and like portals. Like, yeah, check out his channel. He does look. I said to him he should do some online role playing games on his channel or something.
A little game manual for the D&D player's manual guide. Another 100th copy of The Art of War, because it's not the whole book.
You can never have too many copies of The Art of War.
No, I love it. I like the big thick red one. That's got more stuff in it. It doesn't have the strategies and stuff like that. And then this.
I think I might have The Art of Love Making at home somewhere, but not The Art of War.
What's the difference?
G, and the guy was doing, he does like buy 3 get 1 free. So these were like $10 a piece. And I know these are not comic books, but I think you might like the art and some of this. But I'm going to show you a couple books. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 books to show you. So I picked these up at that shop.
Are these D&D books?
These are not. These are literary books.
Spells and Binding.
There's one. You'll notice the picture on this one. You've seen this multiple times. And then Tales of Terror. Another one. And Miss G was like in heaven. Yeah, these are really, really, really good. The artwork in them is awesome. You know, like ghosts.
So these are just telling you like stories, or
It's
just
about tales and fables.
Yeah,
about, you know,
lots of art to do with magic creatures and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, they're really, 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 really neat. Sorry, I know it's not comic book related, but it's still in the same.
Yeah, it kind of is. Yeah, exactly.
Thanks, guys. Sorry.
I got a few art books. Like I used to be in a book club, and I got like Boris Vallejo books and stuff like that. His art is awesome. It's Boris Vallejo, probably. I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but his art. He just looks like it looks like real people. You know, obviously, just like he's just so photorealistic almost. Like the people. Obviously, they're not realistic because they've got more muscles and more perky breasts and real.
Yeah.
But they look the skin tone, it just look amazing. It's crazy what some people can pick up a blinking paintbrush and pens and just make just things that will blow your mind, you know?
Yeah, it's just like I did a little history thing a while back on like Morbius, for example, one of my anti-villains. What's that?
I just say, yeah.
And what I was showing people was from his beginnings, how the change of art of the characters changed over the years. So that's his first appearance, right?
He started off looking like a vampire pimp.
Yeah, exactly. And then when he changes, now here's your modern.
Yeah.
Art is totally changed.
Now he looks a bit like an emo.
Yeah.
Exactly. Remember that vampire from the IT crowd?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So he's a comedian. He's a English comedian. I can't remember what his name is now, but bit surreal for my taste.
And he's got his appearance in there, and it's totally different. Also, totally different story, but really, really cool. I like stuff like that.
Has Dracula ever come back into Marvel Comics? Because they killed him off, didn't they? Some spell from the Darkhold killed off Dracula. Did they ever return? Did they ever bring him back?
The thing is,
they brought him back. He died again. They brought him back. He died again. They brought him back.
All right.
But you realize, wasn't it Doctor Strange? Who is it that created the spell?
Yeah, he read the Montesi formula from the Darkhold book.
Darkhold, sorry, isn't it? Yeah.
But I thought it was like Doctor Strange or somebody who created a spell that killed all.
He didn't create. He was one of the few who could read it without, because it was written in the Darkhold, and if you use the Darkhold, you get turned evil, and you need to be a very proficient magician to be able to use the Darkhold without it taking a hold of you. So it had to be Doctor Strange to read it. But the formula
The Darkhold is just Marvel's Necronomicon.
Yeah.
But the only, but didn't he wasn't it something with the vampires? He killed all the vampires, but he couldn't kill Morbius because he was a living vampire. That was his loophole.
But Morbius was cured at the time. He had been cured by some kind of blood transfusion.
Do you know what part of the story that was? Because I'm doing research on that.
I'm not sure. I haven't read it. I remember that when they were in the Fantastic Four, when they tried to save Reed and Sue's kid when she was stillborn back in the John Byrne days.
Yeah.
Morbius was there helping out, and he was normal.
Really?
So that must have been pre-Secret Wars.
Pre-Secret Wars?
Yeah.
Sounds about right. I don't know. There's a long period of time I didn't bother reading Marvel at all.
So you learn something every day. I love that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I've not read any modern blinking Marvel.
Yeah, I've got a little D&D stuff laying around. I think I still have my original copy of Men in Magic, Monsters and Treasures.
Very cool.
Underworld Adventures.
Who's volunteering to be the games master then, the dungeon master team? Are you volunteering to do that?
No,
I'm happy to sit in a stream and roll some dice.
I have somebody in mind who's got the voice, the knack. What I'm looking for, what I'm looking for is a group setting like this, more than 4, of course, hopefully 6, as a group setting, okay? As a DM master, to be able to tell a good story. Don't need to have the visuals because I want the camaraderie of the group talking. All you need is your dice, your paper, and your imagination. But what you need is a good D&D that can give you that setting.
That's the old way.
That's the best way. That's the way it was meant to play.
Well, we never used props when I was games master. We never used props. Barely even bothered with a map, to be honest. Just just made it. It's more like an interactive story,
It's what it is, and that was what's cool about that little tiny book. This is a by Steve Jackson, Irvin Livingstone. It was the Warlock of
Witchtop Mountain. Is it the Warlock of Witchtop Mountain?
Yeah.
Yeah, classic.
Yep.
I had a big run of those. I've still got them. I still got my original ones from when I was about 12 or something. I got about the first 30 of them. Choose your own. Not choose your own, but Fighting Fantasy
game book.
Yeah, Fighting Fantasy, innit? Yeah, because he also did a role-playing game called it was called Man to Man first of all, and then they brought it out called GURPS, which was the generic universal role-playing system. Have you heard of that one?
Yeah, Steve Jackson games, but
yeah.
Okay, guys, listen, I gotta go. I gotta go grab some dinner. So yeah, thanks for having me again, Gray Man. Collecting Chaos, G Man. Great meeting you guys.
You too. I would love to hook up with you guys again. It would be great.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Fun.
Everyone's welcome in my streams. I just started. I don't even bother telling people I'm going to do it. I
noticed you came on. I'm like, oh, I gotta go see you. I gotta give you some I don't get on very much. I only get to get on the weekends or Fridays if I'm lucky.
Okay, bye guys.
See you later. Thanks for coming in. And then there was 3.
And then what was it? My most recent.
I should be recording that video. I'm going to be showing off some Supergirl comics, Bronze Age Supergirl comics.
Yeah, I'm the New Adventures of Supergirl run at the moment. The New Adventures of Supergirl and the first series as well.
Yeah, I've got some. I'm going to be showing some of the first series, and then they did the Daring New Adventures of Supergirl. And then they did another Supergirl, and then there was another Supergirl, and then there was another Supergirl. There's like 7 different Supergirl series at least.
Yeah, but there was only 2 before she died, though, wasn't there? And then there was other Supergirls that took over in the later ones you're talking about.
The prototype or the Proteus thing.
Yeah, I've got that run. I've got her run. And I'm trying to collect the 2. Linda Danvers, was she called then? There was always but she merges with a dead girl, doesn't she? The Matrix alien shape changer who was Lex Luthor's love interest
type thing. Slime.
Yeah. You want to see what I got for like less than $10?
But Linda Lee Danvers is the original Supergirl from Action Comics 252.
Right.
For how much?
Less than 10.
Okay. I want you to find an old wizard, like something within the first 20 issues, and look that up in the price guide, because it's going to blow your mind. It was in there forever as like $10,000.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, the old Wizard magazines had the Daredevil annual #1 just
I got all these
overpriced, and I don't know that they ever corrected it.
Oh.
Yeah, very happy about that.
I just find as I get older, I get less able to sort of like overlook gravity in comic books. And like Batman and Daredevil, every time I look at them now, when they're flying through the air or jumping out of windows, you just like a batarang or a blinking the Billy Club to sort of stop them from like splatting on the ground. I just can't buy into it as much as I used to be able to.
You want to see what my other favorite though is, Green Man?
You need to relearn how to suspend your distance.
But probably because I'm such a bloody coward when it comes to heights. When I see him just diving out of a window, I'm like, no.
Oh, Howling Commandos.
This is one of my favorite lines.
Oh, yes.
Captain Savage.
Captain Savage and his Leatherneck Raiders.
Excellent run. I'm starting to get runs on this finally. finding some decent copies of this.
Those are hard to find in
Very,
decent shape.
very hard to find. And I'll show you one here. They'll get you. 66.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Nick Fury Shield. That's not it. Astonishing Tales. No, that's not it. I've been trying to cycle through some stuff. I'm organizing some more books. Where the heck
We've driven the chat to drugs by the looks of it. They're talking about acid in the in the chat.
Nice. Morbius line. I got more of these because I'm trying to get a run of them. Oh, damn it. No, that's all I got up here. I got to put away. That's it, buddy.
When's the Morbius film coming out? You all set for the premiere? July?
I'm jacked. Yeah, I'm jacked up. You have no idea how jacked. Even if the movie sucks, I don't care. I'm happy that he's getting some justice.
Here's the thing. I don't care for that actor, but I think he's going to make a really good Morbius.
I do too. The preview, I'm hopeful, but you know how previews get. They can be very deceiving. So I'm trying to learn my lesson because the latest travesty. I don't go to movies very often. I usually wait and rent them. But the latest travesty was the Star Wars.
You called him, babe?
Went in with big expectations.
I'll leave you two guys for a second. I've got to go and I think my lady's calling me. You chat amongst yourselves.
The last Star Wars movie I saw in the theaters was Empire Strikes Back.
Oh my God, dude. So see, I waited, 40-something years for the finishing of this story. And I'm like, what are you doing? I was kind of disappointed.
Yeah, I was disappointed with the prequel, so I never watched the last three.
Right. Fishing Freaks, what's up, buddy? How you doing, Werewolf Lunchy? Yeah. I'm trying to look at the chat for but yeah, very disappointing. So I try not to go in with big expectations now and just in the previews they always show the best.
Get the headphones back on.
You're good, buddy.
Right. Sorry, dudes.
You're good.
What have I missed?
Nothing.
Well, I'm gonna have to go anyway because dinner's been served and my woman's coming in to watch Doctor Who. So
nice.
We're gonna catch up to see what happened with the last Cyberman. Thanks for coming in. You got anything?
He goes back in time and creates more, I'm sure.
Probably.
That's what always happens.
Anything coming up on your channels you want to say good? You want to sign off with?
Yeah, I do. Go ahead, collect. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I have a midnight. The midnight show. It's every Saturday. Sometimes I'll have a guest on. Sometimes I'll have a topic, and I have something very special in the works. But that's a secret. You're gonna have to wait for it. You'll see. Thank you, great man. I really appreciate it, buddy. You're the man.
Yeah, I'll be asleep by then.
Everybody is.
Morning comes too early. Okay, I'm out of here.
Yeah. Okay, nothing to sell.
Thank you, great man.
Exactly. I'm off then. I can't blinking watch nothing like I used to because I've got a job now and I can't stay up late, so I'm missing a lot of videos. And I was, but I can't be anymore because I've got too much. I've got work, got a job now. So anyway, I'm signing off. Thanks for joining me, and
of course.
Until next time, may everyone's news be good news. That's my sign off. See, how do I stop this? By the way, I've forgotten. Oh yeah. See you later, mate.